The U.S. government is set to investigate how past aid allocated to Nigeria and other countries was utilized. This follows U.S. President Donald Trump's January 20, 2025 decision to suspend all foreign aid for 90 days, citing concerns about global destabilization and misalignment with American interests. The move responds to growing calls for a comprehensive review of U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, health funds. U.S. Congressman Scott Perry had claimed that USAID funded terrorist organizations, including Boko Haram. However, amid the swirling controversy surrounding Scott's allegations, the Senate has summoned intelligence chiefs. The upper chamber wants them to conduct a thorough investigation into the serious claims. The resolution followed an...
Hello, my wonderful people. Welcome to Global Love Channel TV, where we bring you the latest happening around the globe. Yes, we told you that Nigeria government did not mean well to her citizens, and the things say we just paid. We have been shouting this for daily basis, day in, day out. We have been crying. Yes, have you seen it, my own people? They said an injustice for one is an injustice for all. Yes, if you not condemn evil, the evil triumphant. But whenever the good people do something about the evil, then the evil will have no way to get the stand. Please, my wonderful people, do well and watch this video to the very end of it. Watch this video, share this video. As I watch it, don't forget to share. Share this video, spread this message all over the world. Please, as I watch it, don't forget to touch your hand for subscribe button, like, and spread this message.
Urgent national security under Order 41, raised by Senator Ali Ndume, representing Borno South Senatorial District. Meanwhile, the Chief of Defense Staff, CDS, General Christopher Musa, has declared that Nigeria will not tolerate disrespect from any country towards its citizens, emphasizing that Nigeria deserves respect on the global stage. Speaking at the Defense Headquarters in Abuja on Wednesday, General Musa dismissed claims that the Nigerian Armed Forces were not invited to the Invictus Games in Vancouver, Canada, an international event initiated by the Duke of Sussex. Joining us now on the show is Joe Keshi, former Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Nigeria. Good morning, Ambassador Joe Keshi. Good to see you today on the morning show.
Good morning, and thanks for having me. And nice to have Rufai with us here to Abuja. I hope you also will make your way to Abuja one of these days.
One of these days, I will. Thank you very much, sir. All right, let's go straight in. Let's start with the first part and what's dominated a number of newspaper headlines or front pages today with regards to the summoning of service chiefs by the upper chamber in response to what Senator Perry had alleged, saying that USAID paid for some functions of terrorist organizations, including Boko Haram. Of course, as you can imagine, following that allegation, there have been mixed reactions. Some people trying to trace whether or not there might be some element of truth to his statement, and others just dismissing it completely as conspiracy theory and a blatant lie. I'd like to get your thoughts on this.
First, I think I want to start by commending the National Assembly for deciding to probe the matter further. My only hope is that the service chiefs, the intelligence chiefs, will be honest with the Nigerian people and tell us exactly what they know or what they do not know. And it would be a tragedy if they do not even know much and they were hearing it from the senator for the first time. But let me say this about the whole controversy. I'm always amazed how we leave our own internal contradictions and focus more when we hear something about Nigeria from the outside. Let's again go back to the video of the senator. The senator's statement was more for domestic consumption in support of what Donald Trump was to do. For two reasons, and I'm saying this for two reasons. Number one, he mentioned only the Democratic presidents. But people should remember that it was a Republican president, George Bush, that went to Afghanistan, that destabilized Iran. And in all this, the same George Bush and co came out with a policy to transform Iran. The senator himself has been in the Senate for a long time and was voting money for these operations being conducted by the American government under the Republican president. And yet he did not name a Republican president that was involved. You know, the devil himself can quote the Bible to justify what he wants to do. So you have a Republican senator trying to justify why Trump is doing what he's doing. And this is what we are all falling over, to begin to say, oh, he's right or he's not right, and the rest of it. The second thing is that, look, the beauty of what the Senate wants to do today is that it will enable us actually to understand or to know the efficacy or the seriousness of our security forces. In one of your interviews, Professor Akiyemi did say that an aircraft was, a helicopter dropped on white people. He thought initially it was French people, and today, in a number of countries, there's no way an aircraft will enter your airspace without the security agencies knowing who owns the aircraft, who is in that aircraft, and where the aircraft is going, and where they are leaving to. So these are the things that we expect that I hope that the Senate and the House or whoever, which of these organs will actually, press the service chief to tell the Nigerian people the truth. What did they know and when did they know some of these facts? And why have they not been honest with the Nigerian people? Well, as for the service, as for the chief of defense staff, I'm actually amazed that he's still on this issue of visa. I think the chief of staff should honestly move on and leave this whole issue of visa, visa alone. I don't know if you have time, but look, this is part of the entitlement mentality of our leaders sometimes. Look, a couple of years ago, when the World Cup was going on, either in Mexico or Argentina, NFA contacted me I was in Belgium then. NFA contacted me to ask for the phone numbers and address if they can reach the Belgian football, authorities, the chairperson and the secretary, because they were lobbying for something. But the World Cup was going on. And I said to the NFA online, look, you are coming so late. These guys are already somewhere in Latin America. The World Cup is going on. I don't expect them to be in Belgium at this time. They said, oh, please try. We need to talk to them very quickly. So I made a phone call. The secretary of the Belgian football club was in Brussels. And I said, what are you doing in Brussels? You are expected to be in, I think it was Argentina or Mexico. He said he has nothing more to do. And I said, anyway, we want to contact your chairman. How do we reach him in Mexico? I think it was in Mexico. He said, oh, the chairman is not in Mexico. He's on holidays on his yacht on the sea. Compare that to our own case. Here's a chief of defense staff with so much on his table, crying over the fact that he was not allowed to go and watch a game for 1 week at a high cost today. It's almost about 25 to 30 million, naira for business class, for first class. And by the way, I don't know what the rules are now.
I think. Yes. So sorry to interrupt you. I think 2 points here, just to clarify, was when he spoke about the disrespect. It wasn't just about him not attending. I think it's a diplomatic relationship between Nigeria and Canada, and also their travel was to be sponsored by the Invictus Games, not to as a cost to Nigerian taxpayers. So just to put that in context.
My point is the chief of staff has no business. At this point in time, he has a responsibility. His men are dying on the field. And all he's interested and be crying over for 1 week is that he could not go to Canada. Whether he paid or he didn't pay, it's irrelevant. The truth of the matter is that he has a responsibility to stay on the ground here and conduct, activities of his, with his men. Every day in this country, a number of people are dying, mostly in the northern part of this country, that are not reported in the media. And here you have a chief of defense staff more interested and crying over for 1 week No. Do you know how many Nigerians do not get visa when they apply and they lose money? There are hundreds of Nigerians who lose money every day to the British, to the American, to the Canadian, to the Chinese embassy, whose visas were rejected. Are they all over the media crying? For goodness sake, the Chief of Defense Staff should sit down at home and conduct, and ensure that this country is secured.
Well, Ambassador, they're probably crying at home, not to the public, about their visas denied. But more importantly, other people do get visas. So I think the visa thing should be a private affair. I take your point that the priorities should be well set rather than talking on personal travel to see a game with all that is going on. But here's one thing I want to take. The mandate of the Senate to investigate this rumor, this accusation that comes out, you have made it broader than what is about. Do you have faith that they can actually go beyond just knowing if they were funded or not? Because you seem to be talking about a general investigation, which, a lot of people will applaud. But do you think that this call, do you have faith in that process? Do you have hope in it?
Sorry, could you come again?
I was saying that the inquiry that the Senate is calling for is to investigate the allegation by Senator Scott Perry. But you have made it wider. Do you believe that the process of the Senate can make it wider to ask things like, do you know if there's funding generally? What is the operation of the military to deter funding and other kind of influence? That seems to be your scope. You have a wider scope.
Precisely. Not just the military, but the security agencies as well. We need to know exactly what they know. Look, it's so interesting. This is a country where we've had insecurity, particularly in the Northeast, for how many years? And nobody seems to know exactly the funders, the sponsors of Boko Haram. You just hear speculations here and there. But this is an opportunity for the Senate or the House to dive further and tell the Nigerian people what we need to know. More than 50,000 people, according to Senator Ndume the other day, have died. Over 1 point something or 2 million people have been displaced. More people are dying on a daily basis in this country, and yet we have no idea who are the sponsors of Boko Haram and why this crisis have lasted so long. It's not only the question of what the American senator said. Remember, in this same country, there were times in which the military itself was accused of supplying arms to Boko Haram. Remember that. There were times in which villagers also said they saw helicopters with, dropping things for, Boko Haram and things like that. This is an opportunity for the Senate or the House to honestly tell the Nigerian people, get the security chiefs. What do they know? Who are the sponsors of Boko Haram in Nigeria? Forget about what the senator said. We need to know. Without people, there are people in this country who sponsored Boko Haram. We need to know all this.
Ambassador Keshi, would you like them to call back past chiefs as well, if you had your way? Would you like them to invite the past chiefs of the ones that were there before?
No, precisely. This is an opportunity to tell the nation the truth. And I keep making the point, for the sake of 50,000 Nigerians who have died, for the sake of 1 million people who have been displaced, who are the sponsors of Boko Haram? We need to know, and now is the time to know. Precisely.
Okay, I'm going to come to you. I'm going to come to you here. The question is, what about the funders out of Dubai that were talked about at a point? What happened to them? What about the allegations of, people across board and the association with Boko Haram? What happened to them? Is it that the intelligence community has not written any expose as regards funding of Boko Haram for over, 10 years now, and almost every year in defense budgets, we spend nothing less than over $1 billion. So is it that they've not written any expose? There's been no intelligence finding, the NIA, the defense intelligence, the military intelligence, all of them put together. We just want empirical facts. Is it that none of them have facts on ground? As nobody has been able to plot this link?
As it's almost said, right. Those are the questions that Nigerians want to know. This is our country. Look, the intelligence agencies, the military, the police, they owe it a duty to tell the Nigerian people the truth about this same Boko Haram thing. We've gone too far. We are all focusing on what the senator said in the United States. Let's focus on what we need to know from our own people.
What about the 6 people in Dubai?
Precisely. What happened to
What
them?
happened to them?
That is the question. And this is why I'm appealing to the Senate or the House. For goodness sake, demand to see all the reports written by, it's your entitlement. Demand to see all the reports written by the security agency. They cannot deny you. You have the right to subpoena these documents.
What about the allegations of the military diverting funds, some of them diverting funds, you know, that were supposed to be used for this war against Boko Haram? Where did all of that go?
Precisely.
The former generals that were mentioned and all of that, what is happening?
This is why I'm appealing again that we need to dive further into this. This country deserves to know the truth. Let's forget what the senator said. He just opened the Pandora box, and let's just open it wider. Let the military, the intelligence agencies, let them go before the Senate. Let the Senate or the House demand to see all security reports in the last 10 years. We need to know for the first time those who have endangered this country, those who have led to the death of 50,000 Nigerians, those who have led to the displacement of Nigerians, and those who have ensured that money for development has been used in persecuting an unending war in this country. The sooner we get serious, let's forget what the senator said in Washington. The senator is playing his own internal politics.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Ambassador Kesh. I think they're all linked. Surely, the more we know, the safer we are. So, yes, we should know. Thank you very much, Ambassador.